Keto in Germany? Is it possible? I don't know. I think so. Wait, let me figure it out. Hold up. Are you wondering if you could do the ketogenic diet in Germany, the place of bread and beer? Let me break it down for you. First of all, let's start it off with what is a ketogenic diet for all of those out there that don't know. The ketogenic diet, or keto as it's referred to, is a low carb, high fat way of eating that trains your body to burn fat for fuel instead of sugar like you normally do. So normally when you eat carbs like breads or pastas, your body turns them into glucose or sugar. To deal with that sugar, your body releases insulin, which is a hormone that helps store it, often as fat. So on the keto diet, you cut way back on your carbs so that your insulin levels drop. And instead of storing fat, your body starts burning it, and that's called ketosis. Once you reach ketosis, that's when you start using the fat that's already on you and burn that away instead of the sugar that goes in the carbs that has to wait its turn and then turn into fat and then get burned. So you have like a backup. I hope that makes sense. You'll be eating like 70% fat, moderate proteins, and just a small amount of carbs, which is probably about 50 grams a day. That means you have to skip the sugar, the bread, the beer, the soda. And you got to eat more foods like eggs, avocados, cheeses, and leafy greens. The result, people lose a lot of weight in a really short amount of time. Now, let's get into this journey. And like I said, I'm going to be looking at my phone down here and hopefully putting this on the screen for you so that you can follow along with some tips and tricks on doing keto in Germany, because that's what it's about. This video is about doing keto in Germany. Can you do it? I think so, because I did it. So anyways, the way that I'm going to start this, I had a whole bunch of things planned for it, but now I'm just going to wing it. You know why? Because this is something that's dear to my heart. And if I do a whole lot of different talking points or research, you guys are not going to want to hear all that. This video is going to be too long. We just want to get down to the nitty gritty. Can we do keto in Germany, ladies and gentlemen? And the answer is predominantly, you got to wait. Check this out. So back in June, Dalen came to visit us here in Germany in our new house and everything, and it was a lot of fun. But also, during his time here, it was about June 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, this and that. He was here, and we had a really good time. But also, I had an experience and a wake-up call because I was putting up my flag like you see right here, and I noticed, I was like, wait a minute, whoa, something's up. I noticed that I put on a little bit of weight, and in doing so, over time, I decided that I was going to try to do something about it, because June 9th is when this picture was taken. And we went to the gym because Dalen likes to go to the gym. And we took him on base so that he can do his daily routine, his exercises. And I ended up going with him. Stepped on the scale, and it's calibrated to the metric system. When I stepped on that scale originally around June 13th, I was amazed that I got to 100 kilograms. 100 kilograms transfers, calculates, converts to about 220 US pounds. That's the heaviest I've been in a long time. So I decided to do something about it. I checked with my doctor, and he let me know that I can do keto. I asked him about it first. I said, hey, this is something I want to do. I can't do any of those other diets. I don't want to have all those special diets and this and that. I just want to do something that I know I can do. And can I do it here in Germany? And my doctor said, well, you could. The thing is, there's a lot of limitations. You have to make sure, your age. You're not as young as you used to be. So for any of you all out there that want to get into keto and just do it as just to lose some weight, you can do it, but you have to have some discipline. And I'll tell you about that in just a second. So like I said, 100 kilograms, 220 pounds, that was back in June, like the middle of June. I decided that I was going to start keto July 4th, which was a crazy time to start it because I love beer. And if you know anything about the ketogenic diet, like in the beginning of this video, you got to cut beer out, you got to cut sugar out, you got to cut breads out, everything that Germany is about, you got to cut it, so that was my whole concern. Do I have the discipline to do it? And it all depends. Do you have the discipline to do it? If you're in Germany, or thinking about coming to Germany, and can you keep your ketogenic diet? Let's see if you can. So this is just my interpretation of it, and also I've done this now for since July, August, September, end of September is so if you think about it, that's July, August, September. That's 2 months. And the way I got to say it is, I decided not to do a picture of my week 1 weight loss because it's just water weight. Normally, if you want to try to acclimate yourself to keto, the first week is the trial and error period. Can you do it for 7 days? If you can pass that 7 day mark, you're on your way. But the way you have to do it is you have to cut out all the sugars, the breads. You got to cut out the beer. You got to cut it all out and be disciplined about it. That means that when you get up in the morning, don't put the sugar in the coffee. Don't put the sugar in the tea. You have to get rid of the sugar. And the best way to do this is to go for what we call bulletproof coffee. Bulletproof coffee is going to save you for the duration of this keto journey you're going to be on, because it's going to sound crazy, but it does work. It's supposed to satiate your appetite so that you're not hungry throughout the morning, because that's what you're trying to do, not eat breakfast. I know this sounds crazy, and I don't know if you guys are watching all the other keto YouTube channels or whatever it is, but this is just me, and this is how I did it and how much I lost. And I'll tell you that in the end, so stick with it. So here we go. Week 2, I kept my shirt on for this because I was like, well, I look just like I did back in June. These first pictures with my shirt on, this was taken July 12th, right before I went to the gym. I try to make it a point to go to the gym ever since Dalen left. I picked up a routine, and I'll talk about the routine later. But right now, I'm just letting you know I went to the gym maybe 3 times. I tried to go 3 times a week. Week 2, I like to take a side shot and then a front shot. Week 2, I was kind of excited that I was losing a little bit of weight. I had a lot more energy. I also cut all of the stuff out I just said, and I introduced a lot of meat, a lot of proteins. And I know that it was more carnivore based than anything else. And I didn't stick with like measuring out my carbs or measuring out. I just made sure that I cut out carbs. I didn't eat any pastas. I miss ramen, couldn't do any of that. I simply stuck to salads. So in the afternoons I would have salads. I'd go to Lidl and you can get a salad from there, and it has everything you want on it. Week 3, you made it through the week 3. And one of the tips I can tell you about week 3, once you make it to keto, and I can't tell you exactly what you should be eating on keto because I'm not a you should do this kind of person. I'm just going to tell you how you can get through it, because that's one of the things that I noticed on YouTube is not available when you do a lot of keto searches. It tells you everything you're supposed to do, how this happens, how you're producing ketones, how those ketones are eating up the fat on your body and this and that, but it doesn't tell you about the cravings, and you will have cravings. So on week 3, you start wanting some sugar. I'm going to tell you something. If you go to the store and you get you some chocolate, you can get that bitter chocolate. And that's like baking chocolate. I know it sounds crazy, but if you have a sugar craving and you need something, because if you don't do it, you're gonna break down, and you're gonna have yourself that Snickers bar. Or over here in Germany, the Milka bars. Milkas over here, there are like 50 different varieties of Milkas. And now that you started doing keto, you start reading those labels and checking the sugar content. I'll tell you what though, if you're an avid soda drinker and you really need a Coke and you can't see yourself getting on this diet without having a Coke because you don't want to sacrifice Coke, Coke Zero. Now I know that there are a lot of people doing keto on the internet saying, hey, keto, you cannot have all of those sugar substitutes. I will tell you, I'm living proof of this. When you need that little fix, Coke Zero, maybe once or twice a week, will help you with your cravings. Back to the bitter chocolate. Go get you some baking chocolate, and that baking chocolate, as long as it's over 90%, it almost tastes like you're eating plastic, like you just put a Lego in your mouth. But I will tell you, you will taste that chocolate, and it will bring back a memory for you that, hey, I could do this. But week 3, I had a lot more clarity. I got used to the system. Every Sunday I was going to the gym. I started doing the row machine because the row machine helps almost all of your upper body. And what I was really trying to do is just like get the chest muscles back up and try to lose the body fat, obviously, but try to lose the stomach fat. Now, week 4, I decided to go crazy, took the shirt off, and I started noticing that my stomach was getting a little bit more narrow. It wasn't as poking out as it was when I was putting that flag up. And that's when I started noticing, hey, it's been a month. Oh my goodness, I did it. I made it through a whole month. Now, in this process, I think on week 4, I decided that that was the end of July. I was right close to August, that I was going to weigh myself also to see my progress, but also I wanted a beer. My brother was coming to visit. So we wanted to go to a restaurant and I wanted to reward myself. And I will tell you right now, for those of you doing keto in Germany, you can have a beer. You can have a couple beers, not at the same time. You have to limit that, but I will say you can have a beer. Reward yourself at the 1 month period with a beer or whatever your vice is. You know, have that full Coke, have that Milka bar. You know, I wouldn't take the whole Milka bar. I'd like split it up a little bit, but I wouldn't take the whole thing. Just reward yourself. The reason why, and a lot of keto experts say the same thing. Your body is not used to not having all the carbs it used to have. It's not used to having the sugar. It's wanting that. And instead, it's eating all the fat, which is great. But your body still has to go back to normal when you're off of this, unless you want to stay with this for the rest of your life. I'm sure that some of you all out there, you're not going to be able to finish this all the way through. I can't even speak to myself and say that I can finish it all the way through. I can say that I can get to the point where I'm comfortable with myself and I can moderate better than I was before. So week 4, super happy with the outcome of week 4. I can actually tell the difference in my neck. I shaved my beard off just a little bit more so that I could tell a little bit that my neck is actually thinned out a little bit. You can see my cheekbones have thinned out. That's mainly because all the water weight's going away. That's another thing I need to let you know. Week 4 right now, I should have said this in week 3 and week 2. It's very important that you're going to when you go to the gym or you exercise or if you even walk, you have to stay hydrated. And I know that's like one of those number one things you should already know. It's a given, this and that. But if I don't say it, you may not do it. But get you a little water jug. I don't care what it is. It could be a Stanley cup. It could be a Yeti. It could be a Circle K cup of styrofoam. I miss those. And you can fill that thing up with some ice water, squeeze a little bit of lemon in there, and a little bit of Himalayan salt, the pink salt. Put a little pinch in that so where you can taste it just a little bit, because you're going to lose a lot of salt intake. The sodium's going to get way low on this diet. And there are reasons for that. I'm not here for all that. I'm just here to let you know, drink your water. Always have that bottle with you. For the first 3 to 4 weeks, always have it with you, because you take sips before you even know it. You're going to get tired. Once you get tired, that's when you know that you're not drinking in enough water. You're not getting in enough sodium. So you need to do that for sure. I weighed myself on the 4th week. I was 95.9 kilograms. So yeah, 95.9 kilograms is close to 210 pounds. That means that I lost 10 pounds in 1 month. 4 weeks and a couple days, I lost 10 pounds. How did that happen? It was discipline. It was not doing the sugar. It was rewarding myself every now and then with a Coke Zero. It was having a little bit of that bitter chocolate. You know, that was what I did. No bread. I didn't have the broachin. If me and Heather went downtown and we had a bratwurst, let's just say, she can have my broachin. I'm going to eat the bratwurst. That's not to say that I didn't dunk it in anything. You can use, obviously, you can have mustard because there's no sugar in that. But if there's curry ketchup around, I'm in Germany. I'm having a dip of curry ketchup. I will have a currywurst, but no bread. So, got to discipline yourself. Then, week 5, I started noticing a little bit more that my chest wasn't really doing anything I wanted it to do. It was still a little flabby. Well, that's going to happen. I mean, I put on a lot of weight. So I wasn't going to concentrate too much on the chest. I wanted to get my stamina up a little bit more. And I wanted to make sure that when I get to the gym, that it's not going to take forever with me huffing and puffing to get to where I need to be. And I also got on the elliptical. So I will say that the row machine and the elliptical were the 2 things from the gym that you can do and lifting weights Thank you, Dalen, for giving me a couple of examples of what I needed to do and how I needed to lift. So you're lifting weights, elliptical, and row machine. So if you have a gym membership, if you're going to Planet Fitness, get on those 3 things. That's all. You don't have to go running all over the place. You don't have to go doing all the crazy routine exercises. Just do that, because it's just helping the proteins that you've got in your body go through the muscles, and then it's going to start developing your muscles again. Because if you let yourself go like I did in Germany, you're going to have some flabbiness going on. You want to try to tighten all that up. Week 5, you don't have to do the bulletproof coffee that much anymore. You can get rid of the butter and the coconut oil, although it's recommended you stay on it. But if you're like me and you're just like, dang it, I can't do this anymore, there's only so much coconut oil I can have with this coffee before it starts tasting like I'm drinking oil. No. So yeah, that was great. If you can see week 5, I noticed that my love handles, I guess that's what they are. I don't know. But those are starting to go away, which is great. Week 6 kind of looks the same as week 5, but do not get discouraged. You made it this far, and that means that pounds are dropping off. You just don't know it yet because you're still doing your routine. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You can see it a little bit, but not much to tell. But I will tell you this: I did step on the scale. And then here on week 6, I stepped on the scale, and that was really close to August 23rd, 94.2 kilograms. 94.2 kilograms. So that is 207 pounds. It says 207.68 pounds. That is amazing. 207. So I'm losing 3 pounds a week. That is the way it's supposed to be. I can't argue with science. The scale wasn't lying. Well, if it wasn't telling me the truth. I'm going to believe that scale. Week 7, I started noticing a big difference, all the way from week 2, obviously. But you could totally tell that I'm starting to thin out a little bit, not as much as I want to. I always thought that my jawline, my little, whatever this is called here, I was hoping it would go away by now, but it's still there, and it could be because of age, but I do see it in my cheekbones. They are still down, So anyways, week 7, maintain the course. I may have had maybe 2 or 3 beers. We also went to Mets on week 8. So week 8, I ended up, it looks kind of like week 7. So weighing yourself every week does help you mentally, because you can see some progress, and it also keeps you in a motivating disciplinary routine every Sunday is what I did, so that I could take these side pictures and straightforward shots so you could totally tell what's going on. Week 8, that is 4 weeks, 4 weeks. Week 8, that is 2 months. So now it's 2 months in Germany doing the keto diet, having my sugar cravings, but substituting it with Coke Zeros and small pieces of bitter chocolate, 95%. Mostly, it's always been 95% and up chocolate. Not all the time, but I have done it. And my favorite part of that was week 8. I went to the gym, weighed myself, 93 kilograms. 93 kilograms in 2 months. 205 pounds. 205 pounds all the way from 220. So I lost 15 pounds since July 4th. So anyways, like I said, here's Heather to tell you what she thinks if you can do keto in Germany. Is it possible, Heather?
Yes. Well, I mean, everything in Germany is Metzgerei, so meat. So you have sausages and pork and all kinds of meat that you can just cook without it being breaded. And then you have lots of veggies, fresh veggies. So it's not hard at all. And Dave has done a really, really great job just eating cheeses and meats. And yeah, of course, it's very easy to do that in Germany.
So with the keto in general, like I wasn't a jerk or anything for the past 2-3 months, have I? Like what did you notice any difference besides physical? you're around me all the time, so you maybe not see it all the time, but have you noticed something, just to give some people some inspiration if they want to try it for a month or two?
I mean, if Dave, like, sometimes he'll get aggravated if I'm eating something with sugar in it. You could tell, he's really craving that sugar. Only during like I want to say during his first month, he was like that. And then after that, it just goes away. And it actually has become, I think, second nature to him. In fact, now he is more cognitive about reading, and he's made me more cognitive about reading all the labels. How many carbs, how many sugars are in it. And we didn't realize how many drinks that are like we thought didn't have sugar in it are full of sugar. So, I mean, yeah. Now he's more cognitive of it. I think you've done a really great job, Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you could see the benefits in his face. Actually, you have more energy.
Yeah.
You're more clear-thoughted.
True.
You don't have such a foggy head. Dave's naturally witty. And
not really.
He is. He's witty. That's why he's usually the talker, because he, like, at the top, he's got so much wit, and he's super funny. So yeah, that's all come back. It's not as foggy for him, I think. And we've had this discussion before. I had this discussion with y'all.
True. So there you have it. You can do keto here if you discipline yourself, but also don't try to make it a huge lifestyle change. Try it for a month, go 2 months, and after your second month, reevaluate. Take some photos so you can see your progress, right?
Yeah, and I think it's made him more inspired to keep going.
Yeah, and I'm older too, so got to do it. Anyway, so.
And Dave's got, I cannot tell you, he really is. That's like one thing that he's great at is his self-discipline. So you really do have to have some self-discipline your first month there with keto. Because believe it or not, it is really hard not to eat sugar because it's in everything. But he just stayed, he's got self-discipline. So,
yeah, I still want a beer all the time.
Yeah, but his self-discipline, when he puts his mind to something, he does it. So,
cool.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thanks a lot. Not just because you're my wife. So in the mortal words of Dave and Heather doing keto, well, Dave doing keto here in Germany.
Cheers!